Hi guys, and welcome back to Time Management for the Average Joe. This is episode 3, and it's actually part 1 of episode 3 because we've got 2 parts for this one. It's such a large video, we're going to be putting it across 2 episodes. So today is part 1, episode 3, and the second part of the video will be part 2, which is actually episode 4. So, I'm Rob from Sydney, Australia, and this is Time Management for the Average Joe. And I hope you've been enjoying the series, as I've got lots and lots of great information coming up about the management for the average Joe. Remember, the average Joe could be anyone, both in Australia and around the world as well. So, in this session, I'm going to cover what I believe is to be one of the most important areas to get right in time management. But I also believe it's one of the biggest struggles for many, many people. And that's right, it's being late. Being late. So the title for this session is The Culture of Being Late. So what causes people to be late? And I'm not talking about the one-off here and there issues of being late. I'm talking about always being late, habitually being late. These people are just never early, they're never on time, they're always late, and it just drives people crazy. It drives me crazy, and I'm sure it drives some of you crazy as well. People who are always late. And sometimes to a point that they can just never be relied on. They struggle to keep a job, maybe keeping friends, or often driving family members crazy. Well, these people are characterized by their lateness. They're known by their lateness. And sadly for these people, they often struggle in other areas of their lives as well, and the lateness just compounds the other problems. So being habitually late can have a massive impact on your employment, church, community groups, teams, or anyone who relies on you, especially being on time if the success of a group hinges on you or anyone else for that matter. Being somewhere ready to start at a particular time. So if that makes sense to you, it's all about not just being on time, but also making sure that you're not letting a group down. So here's an example of what might seem quite obvious to some, but to others, they've just got no clue on how the team dynamics can be put in jeopardy if they are constantly late. So I'm involved with a local church, and I have been for many, many years. And obviously, team building and time management has been a massive part of my life for that as well. But if you're in a church, you may be a musician or a singer, and you might be actually pretty good at what you do. People like you, and you're a very important member of that music ministry, but you are just never on time. You're never on time to rehearsals. You're never on time for the Sunday service warm-up. You're never on time for team meetings. And unfortunately, people characterize you because of, or maybe someone that you know, because of your inability to be on time. And whilst you're letting the team down due to lateness, you're also introducing an unreasonable amount of stress to the team if they have to work on a song, or maybe if the sound guy needs to check you, or maybe in a particular order of the sound check, or if a team leader wants to speak to the whole team at the same time, but you're not there again, or someone you know. It just drives people crazy. And the team has to wait for you. And I know that over many years, it's been something that's really been a bugbear of me. I've often been the one who's lived the furthest away from the church, and I'm the one who's had to travel the longest, but I've always been the one who's been there 15, 20 minutes, up to half hour early, even before the event has started, where you get some people who live 5 minutes away and they're constantly late. You know, the team dynamics can become sour if you're the one who just can't get it together. Often being on a music team is a privilege, like any other team really, but to disrespect other people's time and to be there on time, you have to leave enough time to be at the venue and set up to be ready to go is not fair on them. Disrespecting other people's time also is one of those things that I feel is just not a good thing. I think if you're always disrespecting other people's time, let alone your own, you need to have a good check of yourself on that. Things may happen on the odd occasion, but if you're known for your lateness, maybe you need to reevaluate your time management skills and put some new steps in place to remedy that problem. But maybe you're in a sporting team. It can be any sport at any level. But if that team is reliant on you because you play a particular position and you are rarely on time for training or a team meeting or even the game itself, it basically tells the coach and the rest of the team that you either don't care or that you're maybe just not interested or you didn't plan enough time in advance to be there, or a combination of all three. It could be any of those. And even if you love the game and the team, but the management of time has let you down, it may not be long before the coach has a word to you. And if it continues, maybe you'll be stepped down from the team, or maybe your team friends may not necessarily want you to be on the team because it's unsettling to them as well. And they can't get through certain drills or get through certain routines of a Wednesday or Thursday night meeting. And sometimes that can become really unsettling to the team. But here's another example concerning friends and concerning your culture, or maybe someone the culture of being late. You've got a great group of friends, really interesting, decent and good people you love spending time with. The culture of being late starts to creep into your life and you just can't seem to be on time to anything. You can't be on time to a party, you can't be on time to a restaurant booking, you can't be on time for that taxi waiting out the front for you, maybe at an airport for a holiday, or absolutely whatever. Your friends may not invite you to all these things that you're doing because you just can't be on time. And you let them down, and maybe you're always holding them up, or maybe you have even stood them up because you've been just that late. It is not okay to be the last person to show up at every event. It's not okay for you to always display a behaviour of being late, but saying sorry every time, but then just doing it again next time. And again, for friends and people who care about you, that can just become really, really annoying. And I'm just maybe giving some hard facts to someone who's watching this video today, that it can become very annoying to friends who are constantly waiting for you or waiting for someone else in their group. And you say sorry, and then you do it again next time. Then you say sorry, and then you do it again next time. And being late can really be unsettling to a person or to a group. Maybe transport has been booked for a cruise or a night out, or just to make carpooling easier, and you're always holding up others because you're late. And I just want to let you know again, it's just not okay. And if this is touching your heart, or maybe you're a little unsettled by what I'm saying, maybe there's an element of truth in it for your life today, and maybe you may want to consider, are you the one that is always showing up late or always holding people up? Don't let your habitual lateness cause you to lose or alienate your friends. I'm going to share 3 areas that potentially could change your issue of being late forever. These points are important, so might be worth writing down. I often write a lot of notes when I'm listening to different speakers, and I put them up on my bedroom closet door, or maybe on the fridge, or maybe on a mirror, or somewhere prominent that you see all the time, so it continues to remind you of the different things that you may write down, or the different things you learn. But hopefully there'll be some things that I'll share with you today that you can write down as well. So I'm going to share 4 things, not 3, I should say 4 things that you could write down. So I believe there are 4 crucial areas that we all need to consider when we're about to go off and do something. And as I said, it might be going to work, it might be going out with friends, it might be serving the church, playing in a local sporting team, it might be volunteering even. And you know what, even volunteering, it's not okay to be late if you're volunteering. If you're not getting paid, it doesn't matter, you can just show up late. Well, that's not okay as well. And that forms part of your culture of being late. That forms part of people characterising you, and you can't be relied on. So whether you're being paid or not being paid for a certain task or a certain situation that you've put yourself into, volunteering and being late don't go hand in hand. If you want to volunteer and you want to serve and you want to help the community, or you want to help a particular group of people, be there on time, be there early, and just make sure you do everything you can not to let a particular group or a particular event or function down because of you being late. But you know what? Going out is not just all about being late as well. Sometimes lots of other things happen. You're late paying the bills, or you're late getting your children to school, or you're late in getting that homework finished, or a project, or something like that. And that's not okay as well. And sometimes these sorts of things just compound stress upon stress and upon stress. And before you know it, you are just drowning in this culture of lateness, and sometimes this culture of lateness can affect other areas of your life as well. So, the four things that I believe that are vital, four things that I believe are vital that you need to work on in order for you to reduce that lateness and reduce the culture of being late in your life. And these are the four things. So, what's going to happen is I'm going to go through one of those things on this particular video, which is episode 3, part 1, and the other four things will come in on part 2, which is episode 4. So, the first thing I would like to talk about is procrastination. So there's four things: procrastination, motivation, distraction, and preparation. They're the four areas that you can work on. They're the four areas that I'm going to give you some advice and suggestions, and maybe write those down. But part of this video is going to be procrastination. And so the dictionary says that procrastination is the action of delaying or postponing something. And it's often been said that procrastination is the thief of time. And you may have heard that before, that procrastination is the thief of time. And all too often we put the inevitable off, but it doesn't matter how long we put it off, we will still have to do it. Prime example of this is especially in the morning when you need to get up and go to work. You're in a beautiful, cozy, warm bed, and that alarm goes off, and pressing the snooze button means you get to stay in bed for 10 more minutes. But you know, I've been doing this this particular example for over 30 years. When I set my alarm, and I don't even use the snooze button. I set my alarm. As soon as the alarm goes off, I jump out of bed and start my day, and that's my normal. So the alarm goes off, I do not press the snooze button. I jump straight out of bed, even if it's warm, even if it's cozy, and I get straight into my day. I don't allow procrastination to stop me from starting my day. Now, for some of you, you might say, oh, I like being in bed, or, you know, I don't want to get out of bed. Well, you know what? Not many of us do, especially when it's nice and warm, or if you're tired. But if you've got things you have to do, like going to work, or taking the kids to school, or doing something that's really, really important for that day, pressing that snooze button, it only means that you're taking time off from the day that you're going to need to be able to get things done. And so I would just suggest that that's the first thing, that you never ever use your snooze button. Now, if you want to hit your snooze button on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, if you've got nothing to do on those particular days, well, that's okay. You can snooze as much as you like. 10 minutes is kind of irrelevant. But on a regular day where you've got things that you have to do, don't press the snooze button. Put some tape over the snooze button. Don't press snooze button on your phone. Just get up straight away and start your day nice and quickly. You know, remember, if you've got 30 minutes to get everything done from the moment you get out of bed to the moment you leave the house, and you press that snooze button, you've just taken 10 minutes off that 30 minutes. That's 1/3 of your time allotted for you to get everything done. You've still got to get everything done, but you've now only got 20 minutes to do it. So if you put it in that sort of way of thinking, maybe you've never thought about that before. You've got 30 minutes to get out of bed, have a shower, have some breakfast, feed the pets, put the rubbish out, get some good clothes on, whatever you got to do. And if you've got no children, or this doesn't apply to you in that area, 30 minutes might be fine. But maybe 20 minutes is pushing it really fine. And so at that point, you know, you may start to rush. You may panic. You may forget simple things like your wallet. Or you might run out of the house without making your lunch because you stayed in bed for 10 more minutes. Was the cozy bed worth the 10 minutes if you go to work without a lunch? Well, now you've got to pay for your lunch, and that's just a rebound thing that continues into other areas of your life as well. So procrastination will never buy you time. It will only steal it. It's like when you have to get a project finished by a certain date and you leave it till the very last minute. You rush the project, and the results offered are very substandard, or bordering on an insult to your boss or your lecturer or whoever the project was for. Now, some of you might be out there saying, I I can do it on the last day. I can cram and it's all good. But for most of us, we need that full time allotment to be able to get something done. Whether it's getting out of bed or whether it's making sure that we get a certain project on time. The longer we leave it, the harder it's going to get. And you may have heard of all these things before, but I'm just also reiterating some of those things just so you can hear it again. So never let procrastination stop you from being on time. Get out of bed straight away. Have your breakfast straight away. Pay your bills straight away. Do the washing straight away. Mow those lawns straight away. Put all that rubbish from beside the house out in the cleanup or organise for a run to the garbage dump straight away. It is better to get everything done as soon as possible than procrastinate and rush everything at the very, very last minute. Well, I hope you enjoyed part one of the culture of being late, and I hope it has inspired you to start putting some things in place that will help you be on time, or better still, early with the running of your day-to-day life. In part two, I will continue with the last 3 points and hopefully inspire you to work on some areas that you may have held back in the area of time management. Be sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you liked the video, please share with your friends and associates. I'm really passionate about teaching about time management and all these skills and things I have been teaching you, I've had in place in my life for many, many years. I know they work, and it's sound advice. So make sure you subscribe and always watch the next videos, and so you can get stay informed of some new content. So thanks for watching. Look out for part two of this particular series of the culture of being late, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.